Every teacher in your building is trying to reach every kid they've been assigned. Here's what it looks like when 4 of them decide to stop doing it alone. Students arrive into small advisory groups, same group every morning, built intentionally around relationships and belonging, brief and consistent, and the consistency is the point. Then the day begins. For the first content block, students move. They've been grouped by last week's assessment data. The most experienced teacher on the team works with the highest need students, not the biggest group, the highest need group. Stop and think about that. In a traditional model, every teacher gets a random mix of students. In this model, the team decides deliberately who works with whom based on experience and actual need. A paraeducator moves fluidly between groups, targeting support where it matters most. Then something happens that almost never happens in a traditional school. Students go to specials, art, music, and PE, while all 4 teachers plan together. Not after school, not during lunch, during the school day, built into the schedule, protected time. They look at the data from that morning. They decide who goes where this afternoon, who needs to shift groups, what each teacher focuses on next. Students return and get regrouped again, different configuration because the reading data looks different from the math data. At some point in the day, all 100 students gather with all 5 educators. One space, one community, a brief touch point that says you don't just belong to one teacher, you belong to this team. Later in the day, an accordion wall opens between the 2 rooms. Students move fluidly across a shared learning space based on what they need, not which classroom they were assigned to. Now, what you just saw is drawn from how elementary teams describe their days in this model. This structure holds at every level. Smith Junior High in Mesa, Arizona, each core educator team shares a roster of about 150 students. Westwood High School, teams of 4 to 6 and up to 200 9th and 10th graders. Different grade levels, same daily planning cycle, same structural shift. Here's the part most people miss, and the part most schools get wrong. None of what you just watched is improvised. The team plans it every single morning. At Westwood High School, also in Mesa, core educator teams have at least 90 minutes of daily common planning. Every day, built into the schedule, it's non-negotiable. That's the architecture that makes everything else possible. Every day, the team asks 2 questions. What did we see yesterday? And who needs what today? The team decides, not the bell schedule, not the principal, but the team. One question we're sitting with before summer: does your schedule build this in, or does it fight against it every single day? That is what shared time looks like when it's actually operational. You either build it into the master schedule the way we covered in the last video, or the model collapses back into individual teachers doing their best in isolation. Here's what's striking. The problem, teachers isolated, unable to reach every student, has been recognized around the world for decades. Finland gave teachers collaborative planning time, 1 afternoon per week, built in the school calendar by policy. Better than nothing. Japan built lesson study, teams observing and refining lessons together. One of the most powerful professional learning models on the planet. Doesn't change the staffing structure. U.S. schools built PLCs, structured, research-backed, still a meeting though. Finland found the time, Japan found the practice. The next education workforce model found the structure. That's the difference between a supplement and a system. And the results are starting to follow. Teachers in these models leave the profession at nearly half the rate of traditional settings. 11.7% versus 21%. Even when researchers controlled for experience and prior evaluation ratings, team-based teachers were more likely to be rated highly effective. And for students, early descriptive data shows more than a month of additional reading growth compared to peers in traditional classrooms. A more rigorous study is currently underway, and findings are expected later in 2026. And at Westwood, when the first team launched in 2018, discipline referrals went down. Students' sense of belonging went up. These are Title I schools, schools with teacher shortages, schools that looked exactly like yours before someone made a different decision about the master schedule. The teaming blueprint is your starting point. 4 scheduling decisions that makes all of this possible. The link is in the description. And if you're a teacher leader or a coach, the next video is the one to bring to your principal. I'll show you exactly how to start that conversation. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.